The administration's reckless retreat from Afghanistan blew past the expert warnings, cost the lives of 13 American service members, let thousands of terrorists waltz out of prison, and incentivized others to challenge an America that looked cowardly. In hesitating, indecisive, self-deterred approach to helping Ukraine before Putin invaded, and the earliest days right afterwards left freedom's friends flat-footed and are making the subsequent fight more difficult than it ever had to be. And now the Biden administration has apparently pivoted from chasing another bad nuclear deal with Iran, trying to let terrorists out of Guantanamo Bay. These are just some of the reasons why 41% of Americans say the state of our union is weak, and only 13% say it's strong. Of course, this administration has also created problems for American families closer to home. A nationwide poll published last week revealed that just 16% of Americans say they're in a better financial situation today than they were 2 years ago when the president and his party assumed total control of government. For 84% of Americans, one-party Democratic control of Washington either failed to live up to its promises or actively made life worse. 2 years ago, over the objections of their own party's top economists, Washington Democrats misinterpreted a narrow election victory as a mandate for an unprecedented spending spree. When President Biden took office, inflation was at 1.4%. From Inauguration Day to today, inflation's over 13%. Working families have seen grocery prices jump 18.6%. Used car prices rise 26.2%, and energy prices soar by 33.9%. Millions of Americans have earned pay raises at work, but runaway inflation has left them with less purchasing power than before. Our southern border is in crisis, shattering all-time records for illegal immigrant apprehensions. Streets and neighborhoods are being swallowed up by violent crime. After local Democrats have cut police budgets, liberal prosecutors have turned jails into revolving doors, and national Democrats spent years amplifying the kinds of anti-police rhetoric that result in more crime. And President Biden is helping the radical left go on offense and bring a culture war to the doorsteps of normal American families, trying to squeeze Catholic hospitals and faith-based daycares out of business, trying to take school choice and curriculum transparency away from parents, and on and on and on. President Biden campaigned on being the adult in the room, but he's not even calling the shots in his own party. Over and over, on issue after issue, this president has handed the car keys to the radical left and turned himself into a passenger. That's why working families across the country have voted for change. They elected a Republican majority in the House of Representatives to put the emergency brakes on runaway liberal spending. They re-elected all-star Republican governors in places like Texas, Georgia, and Florida. And they elevated a talented new generation of leaders, including the youngest serving governor in America, Governor Sanders of Arkansas, whom the American people will hear from tonight. Our country may still be struggling to understand what on earth Washington Democrats think they've actually accomplished in the past 2 years. But they can be absolutely sure where Republicans stand.
All right, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell there talking about what he would like President Biden to say in this State of the Union address, talking about the number of issues Republicans want talked about and addressed there. And of course, he also mentioned who's going to be giving the GOP response. New Arkansas Governor, Republican Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former White House press secretary. There's also going to be a Spanish language response given by new Republican member of Congress from Arizona, Juan Ciscomani. So we have a lot in store tonight. We're going to take just a quick commercial break. Live Now look there outside of the White House as we await for President Biden to leave his home and make his way to Capitol Hill. Of course, sometimes each and every state of the union, I believe we do get that vantage point of the motorcade. If we have it, we'll show it to you. Of course, we're going to be back in 2 minutes with more reaction from lawmakers. Next up, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.